The new Star Wars show, The Acolyte, has just released episodes 1 and 2. We both watched it. First day it came out, I was so excited. Unfortunately, I'm not so excited to finish the rest of this season.
I'll be honest, it was just really quite dry for me and kind of boring. I mean, I suppose it was kind of Star Wars-y. It was just okay. If it wasn't for the whole hubbub around the show, I don't know that I would watch it.
They had some cool new aliens, which I liked to see, but a lot of the stuff just stuck out as not so great. I wasn't really into the choreo. It was very, I don't know, they relied on different camera angles and shots a lot. So I wasn't really a fan of that. But we got a lot of Jedi not acting like Jedi was one of my main gripes. Souls letting his attachments and emotions control his actions. And when they apprehended her as a prisoner and then just put her on a transport ship with droids, just a lot of things stood out. And I was like, why would you do that? So I guess the show is showing the flaws of the Jedi, but it makes for some really confusing moments.
Yeah, I definitely did have a problem with the whole prison ship thing scenario. Why? You had 2 Jedi, one of which actually had a personal relationship with the prisoner. Why wouldn't you just use those 2 Jedi to transport the prisoner? That made absolutely no sense, so I'm in agreement with you there. I was really bothered by the way that Carrie-Anne Moss was used in this. She was clearly just used as a PR move to get people interested in this show. It was so weird how she was sitting in a bar, basically, with a bunch of people surrounding her like they were her security. And, you know, as soon as the girl walks up, May, walks up, they do this camera move where she, like, turns her head to the camera. And it's like, why are you doing that? You're sitting at a table with people. You're actually supposed to be interacting with them. It doesn't make sense that you would make this head move toward the camera. Say, hey, it's me. You guys didn't know, but Trinity from the Matrix was in there. I mean, I just don't like the fact that they're doing, hand-to-hand combat in this. It doesn't make much sense because 100 years later, the Jedi are mainly, fighting with their lightsabers and using, the Force, to do their mind tricks and things like that. The way that Saul, or shit out of luck, it just is such an unfortunate name for the character. But the way that Saul basically forces his way into his mind during their fight, it was just weird. I just like, what? And then we had an earlier scene where we got the Nemoidians interacting with Yord. Another unfortunate name for Jedi Knight, Yord. He threatens basically to invade the Nemoidians' mind in order to find out the truth about, Asha, the person that he's looking for. And, we show the whole, he's got a hologram of Asha on his person, like he's carrying it around, or like a picture, and he gets caught by Jackie Lon, another unfortunate name. This show, it's just all kind of like, what are we doing? And how did you feel about the woman that happened to be in charge? Her name is escaping me right now. The green woman.
Yeah, the Gamora-like woman. I didn't like her. I thought that just her character design, like, it was worse than Hera. That's just what my mind immediately went to, because they're both green, but it just felt like they just put some green paint on her and some dots on her head and called it a day. But even she's making some weird decisions, like letting them go on the side mission with the prisoner and use her in that, and then going back and saying, like, no, you guys can't do things without consulting the Jedi Council. Just weird vibes all around. I don't know how to feel about her. And she seems to be very, very concerned about the PR of the Jedi standpoint, and we're starting to see that kind of come in them playing politics. So she kind of makes me nervous every time she's on screen.
I feel like she is kind of Yoda adjacent, which it kind of bothers me that Yoda's not been mentioned. So yeah. I think that she is there because they didn't want to use Yoda front facing. Now that I'm thinking back, it's just you know, the fact that Yoda hasn't been mentioned is a big problem for me, but Master Torben. We had a Jedi in this show essentially commit suicide. And I was just like, what? And I immediately, because of my Luke and Yoda, you know, fandom, had a bad reaction to that because I had a flashback to The Last Jedi about Luke. And I'm just like, what is happening? I mean, this guy, Master Torben, he was not speaking to anybody for like 10 years. And he was sat akimbo and floating in the air. And he had this like force shield around him when May tried to attack him. She left. She asked somebody to make her some poison. And she came back and she basically made him feel guilty and kind of talked himself into killing himself. And he did it. And how did you feel about that?
Oh my god, I was shocked. That's one of the moments where I like out loud said like, what the hell? That doesn't seem right. It was so easy for her to convince him to take this poison too. Like once he opened his eyes, he was like, all right, bet, I'm gonna just drink this. Like, I guess that they're leading up to like he feels really guilty about whatever happened with the fire in her childhood. But I don't believe that would happen. I can't even wrap my head around how a Jedi would do that so quickly and willingly. So very confusing all around. One of my main gripes, I'm excited to hear your opinion about the Force dyad sisters that they're setting up. I don't know why they're doing this, but that seems like that's the direction that they're heading in with, you know, the sisters kind of being linked telepathically and the younger version of May showing up and having her eyes be black. So I'm thinking that they're gonna go towards some Force dyad stuff there, which I'm not down for. I don't think that we need to explore that any more than we already have. So that's one of the things where I'm like, if this is one of the main points of how this is all happening, you know, the real mystery parts of the show are because we keep seeing these two sisters together when obviously it's not real, you know, younger versions of these sisters. And it was fun at first. I had theories. I was like, okay, maybe when she's sleeping, you know, May comes out, or different theories. But by the end of it, I think that they're going with the Force dyad, and I'm not down with that.
Yeah, no. I think we both have talked a few times about the dyad and how we're not in favor of it. You know, maybe it could be cool, but the way it's been executed to this point with Rey and Ben or Kylo, whatever the fuck you want to call, you know, that was a total fucking disaster. I mean, there's plenty of evidence out there in the real world that there can be connections between twins. So, you know, just that is in itself is not horrible. But, you know, through the Force and the good and evil thing that they're trying to set up between their characters, it's not being executed well. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a little bit of a meme out there about Amanda Stenberg, you know, a picture of her as May compared to Dave Chappelle as Rick James. And as soon as I saw it, I could not stop thinking about it. The hairstyle was a little bit unfortunate for her. I'm really curious to see what the ratings on this is going to be. I think we're going to find that a lot of people that were not excited about it probably ended up watching it for the lulz, basically.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that it's going to be mostly negative reactions just from me seeing the show and watching a few reviews. I am interested to see how many people have watched this because I'm not that hopeful. I don't think that it's going to be very good news for Disney, and they need some good news is what I will say. So yeah, we will certainly watch the episode next week and follow along. So be sure to like and subscribe to keep updated, and in the comments, you know, let us know what you thought. Did you have the same mostly negative reaction that we did, or is there some light at the end of the tunnel? Let us know.